So yeah, just a little switch around. So what's everyone been doing for Christmas? Is everyone ready for Christmas, or are you like myself, where you do your shopping last minute? I always try to do my shopping early. Every year I say the same thing. I'm going to do it like from November, and I just never really get around to it. So I just literally done my Christmas shopping, presents wise, yesterday online, and was like just fretting that I'm not going to get it in time. That was the problem. Finding what I wanted, it being in stock, and then the second thing was the timing. Would I get it before Christmas? Some of the orders actually haven't confirmed. They're just saying like standard shipping, but obviously because Christmas is coming up, I'm not too sure, but hopefully that will be okay. I think there's only 1 year that I've bought Christmas presents early, and that was when I won some money in the casino in the lockdown. You know, like you got a lot of time on your hands, and so I signed up to this game, and I played £10, played £5, £5 play, and they just kept on like the money just kept on increasing until like I was over like 1,000, and I could have come out of the game because obviously me starting with such a small amount and then it going so big. But I got a bit greedy, and was thinking, oh, well, if I start with a tenner and I've got this, I could get much more. So I kind of like started playing like big amounts, like £25 plays, £50 plays. And that's what made it, actually, at its most, it was at 9,000. And I was actually trying to win a little bit more because I was so excited that I'd accumulated so much. And then in the end, it started to drop down. And then it got down to like £5,000 and some, and then I just played off the difference and said, right, you got to come out of the £5,000. I was quite upset, obviously, because I could have come out of 9 and being greedy, but it was still like, so that was the only year that I ended up buying my presents early, because when I won the money and it came in, I decided to just buy my presents then, because and just get myself organized. So my tree as well just went up yesterday. I'm really bad like that. There's been some years when it hasn't gone up at all. But the tree just went up yesterday. I kind of wait until when I've got presents to put underneath it. But because I've ordered them now, I decided, you know what I mean, I'd put the tree up. Also as well, I think when you've got bigger children, like sometimes they're not really fussed about a tree. They're fussed about the presents, but they ain't really bothered about the tree. So yeah, the tree's finally gone up yesterday. So other than that, like what's everyone doing for Christmas? Like where's everyone? Are we going by family? Are we cooking the Christmas spread? Like for me, I try to get out of it every year, and I actually say a couple of months before Christmas comes, you know what, I'm not doing Christmas, you know, it's not going to be by me, blah, blah, blah. And then as it's coming closer to the time, I then like kind of change my mind, and then I end up doing it, which I'm not happy about, to be honest. I want to kind of go somewhere and eat the Christmas dinner. Do you know what I mean? Not have to wash up all the dishes afterwards and like be cooking lamb and all these things. And I don't buy turkey because I don't like dry. I think turkey's quite dry. So I just buy like a big capon as a substitute. But yeah, so Christmas is now going to be at mine's with my mum, and I think my sister coming over by me. So that's that's what I'm doing for Christmas. It's going to be a quiet one, a couple of days off from work, and then back into it. It's really funny how Christmas has come so quickly. Like we're like in April and May, and then you're thinking, oh, you know, Christmas is like a long way away. And then Tuesdays, it just creeps up on you. It's a lot of money being spent, and I think the older you get, I think the less presents you get as well. So I think when you're an adult, it's not so exciting for you. But when you're a child, obviously, it's more exciting because you've got, the surprises of the presents that are coming, money, whatever. So, yeah, I don't really rave over Christmas. I find it's too expensive. And that is, I drive, obviously, over Christmas. You don't want to drive when you're going out and stuff like that. And cabs are like double fare. The raves are double fare. The drinks are double. So you just end up spending an arm and a leg. It is nice to go every now and then. So, but this year, it's going to be like a quiet one. Right, so we are going to get into, I was going to tell you guys like a story, and then at the end I will just give a little reason why. Yeah, so just like basically like that, we should be aware and be careful. So it's about a good friend of mine that I went to college with, and just to give you like a little bit of a background on him, he is like just a really good guy. You know, he's a good dad. He's a hardworking guy. He's never been in trouble with the police. He's not got no record or anything like that. He was, brought up in a nice family. He was in the church because his parents was strongly in the church, so he grew up in the church. I think in the area that we live in and the surrounding areas, I think sometimes it is hard with like peer pressure and stuff like that to keep yourself out of, you know, getting involved in what your friends might be doing or getting involved in things that are criminal, you know, activities and stuff. So I'm saying that because I think there was loads of times where he kind of battled with that, trying to stay straight and do what he knows that he needs to be doing, but then being around certain friends and certain family members that have got other things going on, and then you might try to get encouraged by that. But he always stayed straight and narrow. So anyway, years later now, he's seen a friend, and the friend's asked for a lift. The friend was with a girl, and no problem. He said no problem. So they're driving, and then he gets pulled. So he thinks nothing of it. He just thinks it's going to be a normal routine stop and check, and then they'll be on their way. They're all asked to get out of the car, and the car is searched, and then they find a gun, and then obviously all three people are saying it's not theirs. So and obviously he knows it's not his, so it's out of the girl and the man. Now, but as far as the police are concerned, as we know, they've stopped a car. There's three people in there, the driver and two passengers. They don't know whose it is. As far as they're concerned, you're all in cahoots. Maybe you're all aware of it, or do you understand me? They don't know what it is. They don't know exactly what is the situation. Anyway, when it's gone to court and everything like that, they're all still saying it's not theirs, and they all got 4 years. And I was just like, wow, like for somebody who's never, had any scrapes with the police and has always stayed on the straight and narrow and kept their head above water, just to give somebody a simple lift, and you would never think that would come out of it. I just think that was really, really crazy. And it made me open my eyes as well, because that sometimes you might see someone, it's raining or whatever, and you might be like, oh, do you want a lift? Or they might ask you, and you're not thinking of these things. You don't know what they're carrying on them. So it just made me think, wow, like we really need to be careful what kind of characters we take in our cars, because it could be someone that you've known for a long time, but you don't know what they're carrying. And when they fling it down in your car and they're saying it's not theirs and you're saying it's not yours, I would have thought that he wouldn't have gone down, because I would have thought that maybe there would have been, I don't know, prints on it or something to prove that it wasn't his. Yeah, but there wasn't enough evidence to prove whose it was or whatever, and so they just sent them all down. I think the friend is really bad mind as well, because if you know the guy good, which he did, then you know that he's not that kind of guy, in it. Like, if you want to be walking with those kind of things and you want to put yourself at risk like that, then I think when it gets on top, you need to be big and own up to the fact that it's yours. Do you know what I mean? Like, a man's gone down for 4 years, and that didn't need to happen. It could have been avoided if you just be an adult and own up to it being yours. Yeah, so that was just an eye opener for me, just to be careful about, when we're trying to do a good deed for people, and we don't think of, because obviously we can't go through life thinking what if. But I would have never have thought that picking up somebody would have ended up in somebody getting 4 years in jail. Do you know what I mean? Just from doing a good deed, which has made me change, actually. So whereas I would maybe offer lifts, I'm not so quick to offer lifts, because another thing as well is that sometimes you just don't know. You can't really judge a book by its cover and say, oh, I don't think this person would be doing this, or blah blah blah. You just don't know. But I think that is really, really bad, and I'd be highly upset if that was me, to know that I'm doing time, you know what I mean, for something that I've got nothing to do with, just from giving a lift. Do you know what I mean? My man needs to own up to that. But yeah, so that was that. And obviously he doesn't speak to that guy anymore, because, you know what I mean, you didn't see him for how long, and then when you did, that was what happened. But yeah, also there was something else I was going to say. So right, so right, yeah, so I'm back. So I'm just going to go over again. I mean, I went over a story, I think, a couple of weeks ago, a week or two, of a guy called Marcus Fakana. I hope I'm saying his name right. The guy who went to Dubai and had sexual relations with a lady who was 17 at the time. When they came back to England, well, when the mum came back to England, if I'm not wrong, I think she called the police, and Marcus at the time was getting ready to leave with his family. And I think what happened is he had to stay, they left, and then they've been going backwards and forwards. So a little update is, it looks like he's been given a year, because there's something here on the internet that says they don't feel like a year. They feel like a year is too long for the crime. If it is a year, not like that, but I do think a year is not a lot. It's not a long time. Dubai is very strict, as we know. And when you're going away on holiday, I think we need to make sure that we check the laws, and we check, especially, like, everyone knows that I have never been to Dubai. I'm not well traveled, to be honest, but I do know they're quite strict. So the things that are the norm in other countries are not going to be the norm there. they're so strict. I think even on a Sabbath day, you can't even drink water. So you need to be really, really careful. It's very simple. They've got laws and you have to abide by them when you're in their country. However, they're Brits from England. At the same time, you're not in Britain, so British laws are not going to apply. However, in Britain, that would not be against the law. So it's a bit of a mad one. But yeah, like he's basically pleading and saying that he wants to come home. His family's devastated, and they're reaching out to, you know, various people to get help, to aid them in with the hope to get the boy released. I don't think that a year is warranted, but as I said, the country does have strict laws, and he may even, with all the attention that it's getting and stuff like that, he may even be able to do a lesser sentence, or maybe be released. But at the same time, they can't really be seen to like if they've got laws and someone does something, because, you know, people don't agree with it, or in their country it wouldn't be law breaking. They can't be seen to kind of like let people go and let people get away with doing crimes in their country. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the outcome will be, just my opinion, I think that if they have sentenced him to a year, you're going to do that year, and then you'll be able to return back to your country. Like I said, a year is not a long time. This has been going on now for a month or 2 months. I think that's 2 months gone already. It's very, very unfortunate. I don't agree with it, but I do agree. I do believe that when you go to other country, they've got laws, and you've got to make sure that you are abiding by them, and then you won't find yourself in these situations. I will say sometimes that, you know, like when you're younger as well, you don't think about what you're doing. You didn't think about the consequences, because as I said, in Britain it's not against the law, but over there it was. And obviously the mum wasn't happy, and I don't know what she wanted, but clearly she wanted, you know, there was nothing good gonna come out of you calling the police and making a statement and trying to get charges pressed against get charges pressed against the guy. And you know what you're doing, because obviously in the UK it is okay, it's okay, but in Dubai it's not. And so you made sure to take the steps which it is a crime. So I don't know how this is going to go, but I think that they're going to make him do his sentence, because it's a crime. They've sentenced you that sentence, and I think they're going to want you to do that, and then you'll be released. And it's going to be an eye-opener and a reminder for people, when you go to their country and you go to other countries, pay attention. Know the rules, stick to the rules, don't break the rules, and you should be okay. You know, sometimes as well you get yourself in situations you didn't even break any rules, but you have to be careful. So it says Marcus is from Tottenham, and he actually secretly dated this lady in September. And yeah, after returning home, the mum, after seeing pictures and chats, the mum's reported the relationship to the police, to the Dubai police, do you know what I mean, who've arrested him at his hotel before he was able to get to England. Yes, because it clearly says that sex with another person aged under 18 in Dubai is illegal. And so, you know, she's a minor. So yeah, so I will I'll follow it and see if there's any more updates or any more turnarounds. But it's not really looking good for this guy. But I wish him all the best, and I hope that he is released, to be fair, because they're young. He didn't do anything. Okay, he done something wrong in their eyes, but they was in a relationship. She obviously had to keep it private from her parents for a reason. There's a reason for that. The way her mum picked up the phone and called the police, when she could clearly see, probably from the pictures and the texts, that it was a two-way thing and it was consensual and stuff like that, and you still felt the need to do that. It's more of a spite thing, and you wanting to, because that would definitely tear the relationship apart. Marcus is an adult, but at the same time, the mum's going to be doing all of that. His parents might be advising him that even when he comes out from there, if he still wishes to proceed and have a relationship with this lady, that maybe he shouldn't. And also, with them going through all of this now, the mum might, I don't know, she might have been able to persuade the daughter, like how she is still 17, to not see, you know what I mean, to not have anything again to do with him. So I wonder as well, at the end of it, will it break their relationship down, or will they remain firm, remain strong, and after all of this still be together? Because in a minute she's going to be 18, and then she's going to be an adult, and then there's nothing that the mum can do, whether it's in Dubai or the UK. So yeah, the girl, I don't know when the girl's going to be 18, but it can't be too long, couple months, and then she's going to be an adult. So what is this all for? maybe when they're still fighting to get Marcus home, maybe the girl will have turned 18 and then she will be an adult. And I'm sure if they ask her, she's going to say that she had feelings for him. They were in a relationship. She hid it from her mum because she knew that she couldn't tell the mum. She wouldn't have accepted it. You know what I mean? So I don't think a year is warranted, but they was in a foreign country and that's what it is over there. So they've done what they feel like they need to do. So I hope, I wish Marcus all the best, and I hope that he has I hope he is released early, and I hope he's learned from this as well. And yeah, and the family, they're fighting very hard to get him out of there. And so, best wishes to them as well, and hopefully they can succeed with that.
What's this? The real Tina got what out?
Right, I am back. One sec, people. Right, okay. So we're going to get back into it. So we're going to carry on. Well, we're not going to carry on. I'm going to carry on with another topic. It's going to be about Jay-Z's love child. So there's a lot going on with him right now. I understand that he is in the spotlight. I think a 13-year-old girl has come. A 13-year-old girl, if I'm not wrong, has come forward making some allegations. But then I'm hearing that she's apparently withdrawn that. So I'm going to have to look into that more. But in regards to his this son that has been secret. So it says, amid the ongoing Sean Diddy Combs legal drama, wherein recently Jay-Z also got embroiled in when a lawsuit against him got filed, a new twist has come up. Jay-Z's alleged illegitimate son, Rhymer, has recently made a statement, and he accused the rapper of getting his late mother pregnant at the age of 16, people. 16. And if I'm not wrong, when he was 16, he was meant to be in his 30s, so he was a bigger man for her. Okay. It says, while talking to the media takeout, the son Rhymer called Jay-Z a secretive, vindictive man. He said that Jay-Z was 22. So, sorry, my bad. Jay-Z was actually 22 when his mother was only 15 at the time when the two started dating. It says the 30-year-old further claimed that the rapper got his mum pregnant at 16. So, okay, he was 22, she was 15 when they started dating. When she became pregnant, she was then 16. Okay, so in addition to the recent statement, the son also goes on to say he has been fighting a legal battle against Jay-Z for years now. Over the years, time and time again, he has made claims that he has an alleged illegitimate child of a rapper. Sorry. Yeah, he has made claims that he is the... Yeah, okay. But Jay-Z and his team never accepted the claim. It's been almost a decade since Rhymer has been demanding that Jay-Z take a paternity test. He was 21 years old when he started to demand the test, and now he is 30. Why would you not want to take one, though? If you're not this child's dad, and that is what can bring a lot of problems to a halt, why would you not take the test? It's making me feel like it's because you know that the child is yours. I'm looking at the picture of the guy, and I can see Jay-Z in him still, but sometimes you can look like someone and that might not be the case. It says also, he feels that justice hasn't been served, and he says he's not going to give up trying to get his dad to take the paternity test for him to rightfully receive and get the acknowledgement that he feels that he needs. So I didn't know that he had a love child out there. As I said, the picture of the guy, he kind of looks like he's got his nose, I can see like a little bit, but like not full blown to say yeah. But why wouldn't you take a paternity test though? If you were adamant or you knew that you're not this child's dad, I think that you would just take the test and just bring it all to a close. And like, you've got so much money as well. If you are his dad, even if you do have to give him a payout because you owe him pay the money. Like, you've got it. In a minute, you might even be banged up because it looks like you're coming to light now. Things are coming to light on you, and you might be getting charged with something soon. So, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're like, just pay the guy his money, man. Like, there were certain things that people would do when they were younger. They might be embarrassed of it now, But you know, it's like that's a mistake that you can't that's a mistake that doesn't go away type of thing, isn't it? It's a whole person that is here speaking to the press and making people aware that this is the case. But to bring this to a close, you could just take the paternity test, but maybe you know that the paternity test is going to actually say that you are the dad, and then that's going to open a can of worms, which is something you should have thought about before you decided to mess around with the young lady who was 15 at the time, because she was a little girl to you. I'm sure like you probably got nieces and nephew them age there, but she was a little girl to you. So once she reaches like 20, and then you're like, you know, maybe 30 or 20 odd, it looks a bit, it's okay now, isn't it? Because yes, she was with her when she was younger, but she's now at an age where she's an adult, but actually you groomed her. And when you was with her, she was a child and probably very childlike. And so any decisions or whatever she was making, and maybe who knows about her background, because at 15, for you to be running around with guys that are 22 years of age, who are clearly going to be much more advanced than you and are clearly going to probably want to be doing advanced things, adult things, like where was your parents? You know what I mean? Like, did you have a curfew? Like, was you just out on the streets, just running the streets? Do you know what I mean? But who knows? But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I mean, the only thing I think is if the courts, what is it when the courts order you to take a paternity test, but if the guy is 30, you're no longer at the age where you would be in receipt of support. I think where you would be entitled to be in receipt of support because of your age. So, yeah, I don't know how that will end up, and we'll see if he's going to be the big man and just take the paternity test. We will see. We will see.
KMR.
Right, guys. Okay. So just a little bit of sad news. We had a bereavement, a death yesterday in the family, and so we're just going to do a minute silence of, yeah, as a sign of respect. But I'm going to wait until it gets to 15:18, and then we'll do a minute silence. Starting now. Right. Thanks for that, guys. So RIEP to my cousin Didi. Right, guys. Okay. So now we are going to speak about a lady who killed her daughter, and it looks like it was like it was from the influence from somebody else, but we'll get into it. Okay. So it says on the morning of August 29th, 2013, so quite a while ago, paramedics rushed to a flat where they were met with a chilling scene. A young girl lay lifeless, and her mother was gravely injured. What the paramedics couldn't have known at that moment was they had stumbled upon the aftermath of a horrifying situation that was years in the making. This wasn't just a tragedy, it was a twisted web of manipulation and deceit that spiraled into a crime almost too bizarre to comprehend. Fake messages from the so-called spirit world convinced the mother that her daughter was the devil. She was drawn into a fabricated existence filled with people who never even existed. How could it come to this? What sinister forces were at play in this case? The truth is simply hard to believe and leaves the question, who is really to blame? This case is truly bizarre and utterly heartbreaking. How a seemingly loving mother can turn against her own daughter is unfathomable. I ain't gonna try to say that word. to me, but what happens is so twisted. There's not even a great deal of images in this case, so please bear with me. But before we dive into it, you'll find this content fascinating. Then please drop it. Oh no, hold on. Forget all of that. 1 minute, people. Right, so within Polly, Shrai was born in 1979 and was raised by strict Bangladeshi parents in Hampstead, England. Little is known about her early life, but it's clear that her teenage years were marked by rebellion and constant conflict with her family. The tension escalated when Polly faced an unexpected pregnancy as a teenager, something her family strongly opposed pressure by culture and so basically she wasn't allowed to be doing that. Her family, her being from a Bangladeshi family, they have strong cultural expectations, and her having a baby was just not it. She underwent an abortion, which left her deeply scarred and struggling with emotional trauma. This would haunt her for years. She found solace in the belief in the spiritual world. So she was deeply convinced that the ghosts and the afterlife were real, and the dead were ever present among the living. But her struggles only worsened when she entered into an abusive arranged marriage. Though the marriage ended quickly, it left her emotionally battered and with low self-esteem and a growing sense of isolation from her family and the world. So in 1996, at the age of 17, Paulie's life seemed to take a brighter turn. She met Asa Ali, who lived in the same area, and she was working as a secretary. And for the first time, she experienced stability and happiness. Their relationship blossomed, and the couple soon married, setting into Chadwell Heath. Together they started a family, raising their 3 children. On the surface, it seemed that Polly had finally found peace, but the cracks in her confidence and unresolved trauma lingered. What should have been a fresh start soon unraveled into something far darker and more twisted than anyone could have imagined. It's worth pointing out that Asa Ali would later say in court that at this point, Polly was the perfect mother to the children, but she would soon seem and quote possessed in 2007. The young family lived in a flat in Chadwell Heath. Things seemed to be going well until they got to meet their next door neighbor, a woman called Kiki Mudder. Things started slow, very slow, but Mudder became obsessed with Polly and basically made her way into her life. And over 3.5 years, she systematically infiltrated Polly's family life, using lies and manipulating her to cement her pressures. She initially fabricated a tragic story about her boyfriend being killed in the London riots, followed by a false claim that she was battling cancer. These lies were crafted to gain Polly's trust, to get Polly round to what it was that she had planned for her. So they deepened their connection, and as they deepened their connection, Polly's husband grew increasingly uneasy. He realized that the lady mother would influence, and he attempted to intervene, expressing his concerns and urging Polly to distance herself. But Mother's grip was so tight, she had already found her clutches into Polly, and she would often do things with the lady in secret behind the husband's back, where he wouldn't know about things. He wasn't able to keep a control or keep an eye on things. When he was at work, the wife would be socializing. There was little that he could do to talk to his wife. She wasn't listening. She was kind of swept in by this neighbor. He said that there was constant 24/7. Him and his wife would have constant conflicts. But before this neighbor moved in, they were absolutely fine. So the neighbor had helped to drive even a further wedge between them. She would visit the home all the time, and she was always there. And the husband was very irritated by this. When he would speak to Polly, Polly would just shrug it off and just say she's just a good friend. He wasn't happy with the neighbor being around his wife and the 3 children. He found her to be evasive. She was compulsive, and she was fascinated about his wife. She never held a stable job. She spent most of her days being unemployed and filled with fabricating stories and telling his wife this. So it said, well, they go on to say that the neighbor's life lacked meaningful relationships, but she developed an intense, troubling fixation on Polly. This fixation would soon spiral into something far more sinister, disrupting the lives of everyone around her. The husband said. So he says, came across as a very evil person from the outset. I knew there was something not right about her. She was very sly. She was a control freak. She wanted to control things all around, and he noticed this from early on, but the wife was not able to see this. In a bid to save his family from what he perceived as the neighbor's manipulation grip, he decided to move his family to a new home, hoping the change would sever the growing influence that the neighbor had on Polly. However, it didn't take long for the neighbor to worm her way back into their lives and start coming to the new property. She came with claims that she was suffering from severe cancer, and she pleaded with the wife if she could stay at the house for a short time. The wife, unable to resist, allowed her to stay in the new flat that was meant to be only for a few days, but it turned into an indefinite arrangement. Then one evening, the husband came home from work, and the neighbor was lying in their marital bed. To his disbelief, Polly informed him that she was staying there from now on, and he could sleep on the sofa downstairs. This moment marked a turning point, as the husband now realized that this was growing into something strange, and the neighbor seemed to have a strange hold on his wife and the family, leaving him increasingly powerless to intervene. Can you imagine coming home and your spouse tells you that someone else will be staying in your bed and you must sleep on the sofa? He was raging, and he was outraged, and he was stunned. But what I am not sure is that Polly claimed to be heterosexual. So when they were having an intimate relationship here, or was she staying in the bed? Was it just another sign of the control that she had over the wife? So we're going to roll forwards. My gosh. So in the end, the wife moves out with the neighbor, and the children go and live with the husband. The two youngest stay with Polly, actually, and one of them went with their mother. Sorry, and one of them went with the husband. Okay, so it says the child was born in 2004. She was a bright and cheerful girl with a lively personality. She loved spending time with her friends, neighbors, and she brought joy wherever she went. But when this move to Chadwell marked a devastating change, her young life, once that was so joyful, it would start to unravel into an unthinkable tragedy. What seemed like a fresh start for Polly and her children would seem to spiral into darkness. Not long after she moved out, Polly was introduced to one of the neighbor's friends via Facebook called Jimmy. Like the perfect match, charming, attractive, and deeply interested in Polly despite never meeting in person, the two quickly grew close. They exchanged messages constantly. Polly was swept off her feet, falling deeply in love with the virtual stranger. She even told him that she wanted to have his children. Though Jimmy and Polly connected through Facebook, their relationship started to form and started to get stronger, and he gained her acceptance. For the first time in a long while, Polly felt like there was finally something looking up for her, something for her to be happy about, things she longed for. She then ended up meeting Jimmy in person after exchanging thousands of messages, many of them deeply intimate. Their relationship remained non-physical due to never meeting in person. But it just says, okay. Then it says things took an even stranger turn when Jimmy proposed a bizarre idea. He suggested that Polly engage in a physical intimacy with MMA, imagining it was him at first. Polly resisted as she was heterosexual. However, after relentless persuasion, Polly eventually gave in, and the two women would become intimate in a situation that delighted Moda, who had always craved this from Molly. It was, however, hard for Polly, at first, because it was not something that she was into. She had been manipulated, but still, it was a lot for her to take in. And we're going to roll forward. It then says here that the neighbor almost succeeded in isolating Polly completely, but Polly's two daughters still occupied much of her attention. This changed when Polly began receiving mysterious texts from what she believed was a spirit named Skyman. He was claiming to offer her guidance. He began dictating to her and telling her what she should do, how she should treat her children, especially her 8-year-old daughter. Sorry. The rules, sorry, I wasn't laughing at that. The rules were seemingly odd, but not overwhelming alarming. For example, we're going to roll forward. Okay, so Polly started to punish her children on the listening to these texts and following the demands on the texts. They would advise her when the child was bad, like what they should do in terms of discipline. They would tell her to like basically to punish the kids, not to feed them, to slap them, what kind of objects to use on them, making them stand in a bath filled with cold water for extended periods of time. I mean, this little girl was just 8, to add that. All this guidance and all these things came from Skyman, which was the guy that was texting her and telling her to do these things. And at this point, she seemed to be deeply swept in and was listening to this guy, even though you must know that obviously, you know, you're harming your children and you're not. So obviously her mindset was not in the right, she wasn't in the right frame of mind. Aisha, actually, they found a diary from the child where basically she was blaming herself, thinking that all the things that she was going through was because, you know, she's not a good child and she just wanted to make her mum happy. She was saying things that she needs to change and she's going to change no matter what. She's going to stop being naughty. So to cut a long story short, at the end of it, this Skyman was encouraging this lady to suffer, to make her children suffer, and he was like encouraging her to torment them and giving them, and she was physically abusing them. So the Skyman apparently had grown increasingly aggressive, continuing to communicate with Polly exclusively through texts. One chilling message read, "You have no right to ever love or like your evil daughter." Under Skyman's influence, the beatings inflicted on Aisha became more frequent, often taking place at night, tormented, and it was just like obviously constantly, because you're not even got this time when you're going to school and then you come home, so it's just all day. So the mum, now convinced that the daughter was evil, it reached boiling point on August the 29th, 2013. The neighbor had called the emergency services after returning and finding Aisha unresponsive. When paramedics arrived, they discovered the lifeless body of Aisha in her bedroom. She had endured more than 50 injuries to her small frame. In another room, they found Polly, who had unsuccessfully attempted to end everything. Beside her lay a note. You tried to take the easy way out, as far as I'm concerned. You tried to kill yourself, you didn't succeed. So this almost makes me feel like a part of you knew what you was doing was wrong. Or if you didn't know right in the beginning, towards the end, once you had done the deed and you tried to kill yourself, I think you realised then. Because obviously you must have realised you're going to go to jail now for a very, very long time. Maybe you cannot handle that.
Choice.
Right now me want love. Coming on when I'm in last year. Make close like traffic. You could bring love.